Welcome to What If, the show where I, Jake from State Farm, answer your insurance what ifs. Today's caller is Gio. What's up?
Hey, Jake, what if I'm shopping for a new policy, but there are so many options that I freeze up and just can't choose?
It's okay. An agent can help you choose the right coverage. At State Farm, we're there for your what ifs.
Oh, now what if I need help deciding on dinner?
Tacos.
Good idea.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Now, the greatest story never told with Miles and Thrill.
Oh, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show, the greatest story never told. 42 episodes deep. What an accomplishment. We'll start with a couple emails here. Guys, Ola Bacholas, your last program based on the Depends thing made me remember an episode where a reporter radio person complained about the name of the men's room sausage being available on the Washington State ferry systems. That sparked an entire show of the men's room, mostly Thrill, yelling about how much of a piece of crap this guy is, how he doesn't support the Fisher House, how he's un-American. You threw out all the stats, all the good the men's room does in donations to the Fisher House, on and on and on. For the full 4-hour show, I think the person that was talking crap about the men's room sausage, he ended up catching wind that you guys were throwing him under the bus.
You think?
And tried calling into the men's room, which you guys declined to take the call and continued to grill him on the air. That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard, and that was the day the name Boat Meat was born.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever tried to call on the show.
I don't know if he did or not. I didn't care.
Yeah.
It's like F you.
No, it was just
You
one
worry
of those
about your
things.
goddamn show.
Exactly. I've looked for all the podcasts high and low and could not find it online. All I could find was a Twitter post below from 2016 when it all went down. If allowed, can you guys do an episode talking about the moment with clips from the show? I don't think we have it, to be honest with you, B-Dub. I remember it vaguely. I don't think the guy was familiar with the show. He just maybe heard it was men's room sausage.
Well, that's what it ended up coming back to this. He didn't realize it was named after our show or that the proceeds went to the Fisher House. He just made the statement. Fair enough. Like, that sounds like crap. But I guess someone had called his show saying that the ferries shouldn't even carry it because of the name, blah, blah, blah.
And now we have a big sign up there with a Fisher House and everything else. So that was well worth the
That was the
time
response
and effort.
to that.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have another email here. This one comes from Brandon. It says, Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
I was wondering if you were ever going to get Ted on the podcast. I'm sure he has plenty of stories. A lot of us would love to hear. Me personally, I'd like to know why he was arrested right before you guys moved to Seattle. Thanks for everything you do. That from Brandon. We ever going to get Ted on the podcast?
Well, Ted has a podcast where, if you want to hear Ted's story specifically, isn't that right, Ted?
That is right.
That's so strange.
And ironically, it's called The Podcast,
It is.
and we call it the greatest podcast in all the land.
And it's almost 300 episodes that you could go back and listen to and learn just about everything, right?
It is.
But he wanted to hear it here.
Yeah.
And we're just like, why
On
don't you
this
listen to
podcast.
his where
Right.
Ted's sharing a story?
And then, of course, there's the Megacast.
There's the Megacast with me and Steve Miggs.
Right.
Also personal, behind-the-scenes stories. I just don't have the publicity that this one does.
Right, exactly, sure. It doesn't get talked about as much.
No. I put it in front of the daily podcast every day, Miles.
Right, and we do a daily podcast here as well. There's so much stuff.
But it has to be here, Ted.
Right,
All
yeah.
these other ways for people to hear, but it must be done here.
I was on here once telling a story.
Yeah.
So suck on it, Brandon.
Do you remember why you got arrested?
For sure.
Okay.
Most people remember why they got arrested.
Right, I know.
I got arrested for suspicion of DUI, suspicion of failure to stop, suspicion of fleeing.
Why were they so suspicious about these things?
Because none of that was ever, there's zero convictions and probation before judgment. So basically the court said, we don't know what happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
And certainly you didn't know what happened.
Right.
Like, I'd love to tell you guys, I just don't know.
It was just the timing of it that sucked as far as when it happened. And then wasn't it like a holiday Monday? Or why in the heck were you in there for so long?
It was, it was Cinco de Mayo. I'll never forget.
Cinco de Mayo?
Okay.
Cinco de Mayo was on a Sunday, right? So I got put into Baltimore Central booking on a Sunday evening and got out Tuesday.
So when people ask you, is Baltimore like The Wire? I would say after Central Booking, you'd probably say, yeah.
All right, so please listen to the podcast, but I'll give them a quick couple things. So number one is you're asleep on cement, and you wake up to a dude kicking you, going, "Move, fat boy." And there's a brown bag next to you that has 2 hard-boiled eggs in it.
Okay.
And then, you just move from cell to cell. And basically, the cop, I was driving, I don't want to say too much. the cops always going to play that game where you could, say one thing or say the other, right? I, of course, said, I'm taking the fifth, blah, blah, blah. So they were not too happy. So it was what I would see, a concerted effort to get me lost in the system to teach me a lesson.
Oh, of course.
Oh, is that what it was, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's what I was going to say. Why it wasn't just an overnight?
Right. And then when I got finally to see the commissioner, and everybody in the cell is like, white boy, you'll be fine, man. Like, you never been arrested? Like, no. Like, at this point, I never had a point on my license. And then basically the commissioner was just like, 6 G's. Boom. I was like, $6,000 bail. Like, that's a lot. Like, I didn't even make a phone call up to this point. Because now you're getting booked into the tier. Like, you're going upstairs is where the jail is, the tiers. You got to put on the jumpsuit and this and that. So then you go see your public defender. Mm-hmm. And I go, why is it that high? And she just goes, honey, you're the wrong color in the wrong jail.
Yeah, that's it.
But
no.
To her credit, she gave me a number of a guy, bail bondsman, that let me bail out for 5% instead of 10.
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
$300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we, the only thing I remember was getting into work on Monday, and Steve and I look at each other like, Ted's normally here by now.
Well, it was weird,
Yeah,
right?
like
Because the
he's-
bosses are at where's Ted? So we just said, "Oh, dude, he called us earlier." We hadn't talked to Ted. We didn't know what's going on. We're like, "Oh, dude, he called us earlier. Either he's going to be late or he's not going to come in. We'll see how he feels." But that way, so they didn't ask a lot of questions. They're like, "Okay, next time, let us know." We're like, "Sure, our bad." But we had this mutual buddy named Jake the rapper, and Jake, he would wander into the studio every so often. So he came in this day, and we would chat with him on the air, just doing our thing. And then we go to break. He's like, "Where's Ted?" We said, "Bro, we don't know. Can you?" And Ted lived real close to where the studios were. Like, can you fly over to his apartment, man, and just see like if he's just dead asleep, whatever the deal is.
And my roommate, right, everybody I live with, they know Jake.
Oh yeah, so Jake, he disappears from us for a while. And then I don't know, an hour later he shows back up. He's like, "Yo, man, I don't know where Ted is. I think maybe he's been arrested." And I did not think so. I'm like, man, I don't think he's been arrested. I think he got effed up last night. You know what I mean? Probably just fell asleep at a buddy's house. I get it. We've all been there. And no, Ted got arrested. And so when we find this out, we're definitely keeping this hush-hush from the boss.
From the boss.
Because
Yeah,
for whatever
yeah.
reason, they never asked about Ted one way or another, right? They didn't care about you. They didn't like you. And for whatever reason, on this day, Ted kept coming up. "So, did you guys hear from Ted?" Yeah, he does not feel good. He definitely would not be here today. Well, is he coming in tomorrow? We don't know.
We don't know.
We're just going to play
Right,
this
and
by ear.
This was on the heels of having been in Ocean City, Maryland because this was a Sunday night. So Friday and Saturday, I was down at the beach DJing a damn high school prom with your buddy Chip.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, you come
Chip.
back.
Sunday, I come back and we're going to cut loose and this and that. So he goes, "Should we go to the strip club?" We should go to the strip club.
Right.
Yeah.
You
was
should
the
not have
beginning
gone
of
to the
the
strip club.
Oh, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, first of all, I shouldn't have been driving. Second of all, it is pouring rain. I'm right behind a college. Just basically, like, at this point, we're like, let's just go home. Take a corner. Allegedly, he may have sideswiped a car.
Right.
Allegedly.
Park it down the street. The 2.5er rolls up, and my buddy, of course, has a full. He's just giving this to the campus cop 2.5, just giving him a bunch of crap. So within seconds, the Baltimore City police are there.
Jesus.
And then right. So I mean, just imagine pouring thunderstorm rain, and he's a mess. He's just like laying, and then you go home tonight. You say, and I'm just like, no.
Great. I have to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yep, there
Great
you go,
time.
Brandon.
There you go, Brandon.
That's what happened. That's what you asked for. That's what you get. And there's episode number 42 of The Greatest Story Never Told.
Oh, is that it?
That's it. That's all I got to
You're
do.
special
Damn, why am I spending 45 minutes on
I know. How
Zoom?
long did yours go?
Megacast was only 20 minutes this week.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually do like 45.
How long we go on that one, Mike?
This guy is about 8.5.
That's all you need to hear.
Oh,
That's
you
fine.
sons of bitch.
Yeah.
They wanted to hear your story.
It's a story. The end.
You've been listening to The Greatest Story Never Told with Miles and Thrill on radio.com.
Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Have you you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.